Hello, good evening. So today I'll be talking about a couple of other aspects of digital marketing, that is affiliate marketing as well as referral marketing. So in the past I've spoken about Facebook marketing as well as Google marketing, for including remarketing as well, and I've given a gist of alliance marketing. So there are a couple of aspects which were not covered. One is affiliate marketing and the other is referral marketing. So what's affiliate digital marketing? So in the internet space, the entire internet real estate is largely, a big chunk of it is owned by Google and all the publishers that are associated with Google, a lot of website. Then a big real estate is owned by Facebook. There's a lot of real estate out there that is neither owned by Google nor Facebook. So the internet real estate, the publishers, the sites which are not associated with the real estate on those sites. So just to give an example, let's say there's a site called Wall Street Journal, which has got a lot of real estate to put advertisements. So they sell their real estate to ad agencies, and let's say Google is an ad agency, but for some reason some area on Wall Street Journal, Wall Street decides not to share it with Google. It wants to onboard some other ad agency, right? And so any ad agency outside the world of Google and Facebook is called as affiliates. So and all the digital marketing campaigns that you do with affiliates is called as affiliate marketing. So the way affiliate marketing works, in terms of the metrics and all of that, is pretty similar to how it works with Google and Facebook. But there's one very fundamental difference. In affiliate marketing, you do not pay the marketing agency, the affiliate, on cost per click or on cost per impressions. You don't use those metrics. What the metric that you use is cost per transaction, and to be specific, cost per net transaction, and I'll tell you why. So there are affiliate is a very large community, and it is suspected or alleged that there are a lot of affiliates out there who bring in false clicks, false impressions. We, what we call them as affiliate farms. So there are people who are made to click ads through affiliates, or to install the app through affiliates, and that way it is very susceptible to fraud. And that's the reason clicks, impressions, app installs, why affiliates are not considered as valuable metrics. The metric that is considered valuable is a transaction that was driven by affiliate network. So let's say you saw some ad of some affiliate on the internet, you clicked it or you installed the app by clicking it, and then you did a transaction. Then that is considered as a valid transaction through affiliate network, for which you are liable to pay the affiliate. Now, even over here, there's a catch. Many times there are affiliates who make you purchase, who purchase any product on your site. So there's a site called amazing.com, and some affiliate purchases comes through a user comes to an affiliate network and purchases something on that site, but it was actually a fraudulent purchase. So that user was simply a member of the affiliate network itself, was trying to create a transaction and then get money from amazing.com as a transaction fee. And that's the reason, even for affiliates, we don't pay on gross transaction, we pay on net transaction. So what's the difference between the gross and net transaction? So you come to a website called amazing.com, and you click on a product, say shoes by a brand called Nice, and you purchase that product, and the product is delivered to you. Even then we do not pay that affiliate. We wait for the return window to get over, and only once the return window is over, then we know that it wasn't a fraud transaction, and then we pay the affiliate a cut of the transaction value. So generally it is decided saying that we'll be paying you $2 or $3 for every transaction, depending on what the order value is for different firms. So a cut of the order value is paid to an affiliate after the return window or cancellation window is over. So this is the case I gave you of a tangible good. Let's say a website which deals with hotel ticket booking, like an Expedia or something like that, would pay the affiliate only after the guest has checked out of the hotel, because in that case it's an authentic transaction. If it pays before the guest has checked out of the transaction, then again fraudulent behavior can come into the picture. The affiliate network, someone who's a representative of the affiliate network, might simply go to Expedia, create an order, and then Expedia might pay that person. Once Expedia pays that person, the user might cancel the order. So that's why in affiliate network we always pay the affiliate after the transaction, the expiry, either the cancellation window is over or the return window is over. So this is one important form of marketing where you get a lot of scale. That is affiliate marketing. There's another very important form of marketing which is called as referral marketing, which is very extensively used in the world of e-commerce. Where if a user, let's say I refer someone else, a person X refers a person Y to install the app using the person X referral code, and once the person Y does this first transaction, uh, the person Y and person X both get say $2 or 100 rupees, 100 rupees as an incentive. So why referral network helps a lot is that generally when various studies suggest that if a person who you know has referred you to a website, there's a lot of trust and credibility. So the conversion rates are very high. So let's say I got in 100 users to install my app through Facebook. Most likely only 4 or 5, or let's say 10 out of those 100 users might do a transaction. But let's say I got 100 users through various of my existing users who have referred their friends, family, etc. The conversion rates are extremely high. So, because when someone who you know has referred you, the credibility of the website increases significantly. So that's why referral programs are very successful. People spend a lot of money on referral program, and then the question comes how much money you should give for referral, because you're giving both for the person who referred as well as the person who got the referral, person who installed the app as well, who ended up engaging with the product. So uh, there are various rules that are used over here. So generally, let's say through Facebook, if you get 100 installs and cost per install is 100 rupees, and out of those 100 installs, only 10 people transact, uh, rather only 10 people actually, only you have acquired only 10 customers. So you can easily guess that your cost per acquisition is 1000 rupees, because you paid 100 people purchased, per 100 people downloaded an app, per person cost of download of each user is $100, so you spent 10,000 rupees over there. But then given that only 10 people purchased, which means you have only acquired 10 customer, the cost of acquisition comes to say $1,000. So anything less than 1,000 uh, is valuable. Generally in India at least, people don't give so much for referral. I'm just quoting very hypothetical number, but generally what people do is that they know the benchmarks. They know what is the cost of acquiring a user through Google or Facebook, and they're generally willing to give that much as a referral incentive. So that's how referral works. So this is the predominant world of digital marketing. I've covered Google, Facebook, the entire Facebook universe, remarketing, affiliate, alliances, and referral marketing. In the next session, I will talk about key metrics that are frequently tracked and optimized in the world of digital marketing. Thank you.